It is almost a waste being in this nice of a hotel room with how late I got here, but it's what's available. Plus side, there is a place with rather good looking breakfast burritos, that Cajun place next door. So that's why I'm delaying, and then I'm gonna hit that and then get back on the trail. Okay, still limping, but no tape or band-aids on my feet for the moment at least. So I'll choose to view that as something positive. So this is the place I ate last night. They were really nice. They had a big looking breakfast burrito on the menu that I've been thinking of all morning, and I just couldn't do the hotel breakfast. Okay, those folks were really nice to me. I am fed, I am coffeeed, I am getting moving. Most of today should be pretty mellow on bike paths. The trick is going to be making it back to the bike path. If what I did last night looked kind of dangerous, it was. There is basically a planned bike path that's under construction, and the alternative wasn't workable. I am still limping fairly bad, unfortunately. I have managed 70 miles with that over the last 3 days though, so can't complain too much. I would plan to take a slightly easier day and maybe let my feet recover, except once again, it doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of options. I was looking for hotels near where I'm going to exit Denver, thinking, okay, you know, if I just pull over after 18, 20 miles, maybe I can be in better shape the following day to go up the hill. But there's nothing. There was some little cottage for 400 bucks, and that isn't worth it. And I mean, realistically, half the time I get later in the day, and instead of pulling over a little early, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to push it. Maybe I can make it. Hence why I end up doing these 25-mile days. But regardless, today is my urban day on bike paths. After this, I'm going to be up in the mountains. There's still going to be some towns, but they're mostly going to be smaller ski resort sort of things. I'll be going through Breckenridge and Twin Lakes and a few others. So I'm expecting more camping than what I have been doing through this section, hopefully. My parents are tentatively planning to come visit me at Twin Lakes. That was when I was due for another pair of shoes. We're gonna drop it down to about 300 miles since it feels like my shoes wearing down, basically where the foam's all compressed, is a big contributor to these rough bits where my feet are just killing me, and it isn't worth it. I have enough shoes to get me through the rest of this at 300 miles per pair of shoes, so that's what we're gonna do. I really cannot figure out what is going on with the right side of my foot. It feels like it's abraded. I've gotten some little rocks in there, but that happens a lot, and it just doesn't seem to be going away. This is like the third day of this, I think. Hats off to John at Hiking America. Every time I send him feedback on some section like this, he always jumps in. He actually sent me the suggestion for getting back to trail, because obviously what I did last night was not viable. or not reasonable, I should say. Anytime I run into something like that trail closure, within a couple of days, he has whatever notes or changes updated onto the map set, which is a folder sharing Gaia GPS. So then it comes out to anybody else who's on trail. And that has been really invaluable for me, just having some indication of, well, somebody said this was hikeable. Look out for water over here, stuff like that. Otherwise, for example, I would have to be carrying significantly more water, just in the hope that, okay, maybe there's a drinking fountain up here. So this is on the other side of the river from where I would have been if I hadn't come over to the hotel. I might have been able to make something work stealthing wise last night, either here or at the end of that reservoir park. I tend to be kind of cautious. It's not, can I get away with it? It's more, do I feel good about it? I've seen enough what I would call egregious / main character syndrome behavior from some others posting online where I tend to refuse to be that way. And sometimes that restrains me from what would probably be completely reasonable options camping-wise. But I'm out here to enjoy myself, not to feel like a shitheel. And I know I keep talking about it, but it will get easier to camp out here. Once I join the Continental Divide Trail corridor, you know, the default there is you can camp anywhere you're not explicitly disallowed. And I mean, the last week or so, there's been some great camping opportunities that just do not always align with where I am at the end of the day. I do still consider myself in rehab mode as long as my feet are hurting this much. It's not worth taking any additional days off if I can make progress, but I'm also not trying to be super aggressive and make 25, 28 miles every day. If I can get anywhere above 15 and rehab them, I will be happy. At least for the moment, I've got a clearish weather window. Down here in Denver, they're predicting, you know, 80s, which is pretty much ideal. Now I'm going to be climbing up into the mountains, so I'm fully expecting to catch more of those storms that I was watching off to my left the last couple of days. I have hiked through Colorado the last 2 years while I was on the CDT through various mishaps. And by late September, generally the weather has improved quite a bit. I mean, yeah, you're going to get the occasional storm, you're going to get the occasional light snow, but it calms down from the kind of monsoonal fury I've had coming through at this time of year. I would also be lying if I said I wasn't feeling the time pressure, but you know, it is what it is. There's the trail I should have been on and that I'll be rejoining. So there's every possibility at this point that I will still make San Francisco. There is every possibility I won't make it out of Colorado, and everything in between. If I worry about that, I'm just going to give myself more gray hair than I need. I try and just tell myself that one way or another, by December, I will be back in SoCal with Jen, resting up. And then a few weeks after that, I will be badly missing being out here. So I try and just hit that hiker's end where I've subsumed myself in day-to-day trail life. There are good days, there are bad days. Very few days are unremarkable. Even if they're remarkable for, you know, being a grind in traffic. My focus hasn't quite shifted over to next year yet. I was doing some more research on the Yukon while I was healing up at my parents' once I was able to be conscious for more than an hour or two at a time. We are going to get a Starlink antenna so we can post episodes during that thing. That seems like it'd be fun to play with, and I find it a lot harder to keep up with editing when I don't have the ability to kind of share it with people. That's the fun part. I do not currently know what I'm going to be doing pre-Yukon Christmas. We will be in Indonesia. Jen is super excited to make Raja Ampat happen since she enjoyed Socorro, but really wants to get back to all the corals and all the legion of little fish and all that. Then the wilderness class, then something in the month or two long range, and then by June I have to be up in Seattle. She finishes school early June, comes up and meet me. We drive to the Whitehorse from Seattle, which should be cool. We're gonna make a road trip out of it of a couple of days because we don't like flying with paddling gear. And then we will have 70 some days together on that, and in Anchorage, fly back down probably, unless I drive back south. And then if I haven't made it to San Francisco here, I will be back on the American Discovery Trail at that point. If I have made San Francisco, then I will be on a different trail. There are a lot of good options for fall hiking. So I would really like to finish this year, and then I can go do something cool. I am not suffering from a lack of things I would like to do. And Jen and I are still very much on the same page as far as we hate the time apart, but we feel very fortunate for all the adventures we've been able to have, and we look forward to so much more. So we are going to continue this crazy lifestyle as long as we are able. We have been researching some options in Europe possibly for summer of 2026. Originally, I thought North Country Trail, with the amount of overlap with this one, I kind of feel like similar to after I did the AT, give the region a rest for a year or two and go adventure elsewhere. So we don't know. There's stuff we'd like to do out there. Some of it is limited by visa and stay restrictions. Can't just go over there and spend 8 or 9 months. Well, you can, but you're technically marked as an illegal alien and then banned from Europe for a couple of years. I am too bloody used to road walking. I keep defaulting to the left side of the trail and then almost getting run over by irate cyclists. Whenever somebody asks me if I've considered XYZ Trail, I generally say, well, if I hadn't, I would, as long as there's the ability to camp and camp alone. I'm not wild about things like, you know, the Caminos going hostel to hostel. I was so excited for the Arizona Trail, and part of me wants to go back and do that. It was really mellow and easy as these things go. I just don't know if the crowds that I saw when I was out there in 2023 are the new norm, or if it was just the PCT and CDT conditions dumping more people than usual. I do intend to go back. I do intend to start back at the border because I'm not gonna just do it something that short in little bits and pieces. But it's gonna be when I just have extra space. And who knows, that may be where I end up next spring. It is a really easy start for us. Jen can drive me, drop me off, spend the night with me, and get back to Southern California. And I do really enjoy desert hiking. The water restrictions are not that unusual, and something like that where you have far out beta is significantly less stressful. Speaking of the Grand Enchantment Trail, I enjoyed that trail so much, and just what Brett Tucker has done with that. I actually bought the other couple of trails he made, and I fully intend to do those as well. Mongolian Rim, I think, and then there was a loop that I saw Buck 30 was on this season. And there's also the Winter Desert Thru Hike, which connects the Arizona Trail with the PCT, and I do kind of like that. I don't think I would ever be in the market for something like Ruse Perimeter Trail. It's cool that it exists. I love that there are trail corridors, and I'd like to walk most of the trail corridors connecting trails. I just don't think I'd ever have that long, and the weather screws you. It's not like you can just jump out here and keep walking year round. And for the foreseeable future, I am bound to Southern California for, you know, the January to March timeframe for WTC, and because of Jen's job. And while we do make a little bit of money to help offset costs from these videos, the amount it would take to make it so Jen doesn't have to work and we could just do this full time, that's never gonna happen. Not with the US healthcare system the way it is. Oh, I do enjoy me some bike path infrastructure. There is a lot of bike traffic out here. I'm having a hard time filming without putting anybody too close on film. I also like that all the junctions out here are traffic circles. Okay, still pained and dragging, so I added some more caffeine. Welcome to the junction between the north and the south routes on the ADT. I'm going to celebrate by not going to Subway for once. Kind of craving a hamburger at the moment. Okay, I am both sad that the place marked as Dead Hippie Brewing was closed, and unfortunately Chili's is just always Chili's, aka disappointing. It does kind of feel like everybody in this city is sick. Seems like everywhere I go people are coughing. I also kind of hope things would be more hiker friendly out here, but I seem to be getting the smelly homeless person reaction more than anybody going, oh, hey, what are you doing? And I guess this counts as that western end of the North-South American Discovery Trail. Oh yeah, there you go. Not quite as impressive as the other sign. It's basically a junction of two bike paths and right across from a Regal theater. But hey, signage. If you don't remember, this is what the one on the east side looked like. I just can't seem to settle in today, no matter what I do. Coffee, food, etc. I did end up with some kind of sad news from back in civilization, so oh well. I do have options if I want to take a short day. There is a hotel here in however many miles. Otherwise, I'm going to have to push on and try and stealth camp or get a ride off the trail to like Uber to a hotel, which is an option. I'm now walking over towards Morrison / Red Rocks area. Well, that makes sense, the reactions I've been getting. It's kind of a full-on homeless encampment through here. Okay, I found a reasonably affordable hotel. I have some civilization things I can take care of, and hopefully this will give my feet more of a chance to improve. They're better than yesterday, but it just sucks walking when every step hurts.